Hey everyone, welcome to the video. So we hit 24 today with our no IT account, still doing HCRC, and still liking this combo since you don't lose too many troops. For the tree, took sort of the same path as April Fool's account, almost down to a T. We didn't get shock mines and crit launchers at 6, we just kept going to 7. And that worked out because the BH was a big deal for pushing to 24. And we even got this extra TD. I think base wise, we're just trying to slow down like bomber hits, RC hits. That's why you see 2 ERs in each corner. So even if they BART one, they still have to go to that side. Since we're missing shock mines, Seekers are pretty strong against us, but we got a bit lucky and haven't faced too many. And as far as hits go, facing a lot more 7s, so our times aren't that fast. Like a lot of 220s, 2 minutes, and then later we'll look at other 6 ERs. But like this first one has 100 PH. Normally with HCRC hits, the idea is clearing most of the base with troops and BARTing the furthest ER. You can't really do that with 100 BH, because it goes from like 90 GB to BART an ER to 140. And that's 50 extra GB you have to somehow find a way to get. And that also means less shocks, more stuff to clear, and slower times. So in this case, like, isn't really an ER that's going to benefit from BARTing, so we just full clear. You can still BART something, so we chose that Shock Blaster. Also shocking crit launchers to stop having too many critters built up. Okay, that sniper's being annoying, so we shocked that. And the split was somewhat decent, but again, shocking stuff that there's no meat shield on. Once this ER goes down, we can flare up. Get those RCs being more useful. And at this point, we can just flare the last few ERs, since we got enough GB. And since we have 100 PH ourselves, we can afford to be a bit slower. This was a close one. Again, he had 100 BH, so couldn't really BART an ER. Had to just full clear from one side. Went 2-6 and just right away flare that cannon, get everyone in position. RCs are close to the right, so we throw some shocks. I think we do a bit of BART to speed it up. Wish we had an HC more to the right since sniper's going to be annoying again. He shoots one RC down almost a second. And because 7 ER is also really spread out base, it takes longer just to full clear. RCs usually have to be closer together, so you have to fly across much more area of the base. Can help BART that DC, and then again just flare the last few ERs. So if you didn't lose that RC earlier, maybe could have won, since we just lost by a second. But we're still facing other 6 ERs. For the most part, I think 6 ERs should be relatively straightforward, since you can still just BART one ER and clear the rest of the base. I do like building flares with RC, since it just shifts everyone and doesn't force troops to just all go to that one same spot. Your bullet's in a good distraction spot. And we decide to BART this right ER, since a lot of single point you can skip. And another reason I like using RCs with no IT, you don't lose too many troops, especially with a decent enough hit. We've also been facing some 200 building damage bases, and on those I like to take 3 HCs. Just heavies die really quickly with all that building damage. Here we have 1 ER on the bottom, so we drop bullet and RC for it. And on the top we just let them spread out Still using shocks, because again, heavies die real quick. They're one-shotted by boom cannons. And once we just let them clear, it's just saving GB to Barton ER. And I think we missed that shock, but it gets close. Just down to 1 RC. Still enough. All to face a 7 with 200 building damage. And this one did have 100 BH too, but since the layout's a bit easier, you can still Barton ER. That boom cannon's in range, so we have to shock it. Also do a reflare to move the RC across. And to Bart with 100 BH, it's going to be 4 barrage and 7 arts. So still a lot more GB to use. Only have 100 this season, so not as much as normal seasons. Here we sort of just let them clear. Laser is a bit annoying, so use shock knuckles. I think one of the only times in the hits that uses ability. Usually I like to just save GB for shocks and Bart. So one more barrage and flare the last ER. And we also face 7 with only 50 BH. And on those, I think Barting an ER is still okay. Here we just go from the left, and we're gonna Bart this right one. And just using shocks on stuff that there's no meat shield for the RCs. Like that cannon, for example. And then later that rocket. RC hits, it's usually just letting them spread out and adjusting to what's happening. You can see HCs are on right side, none on the left, but there wasn't any single shot on the left either, so it was okay. Then we had our boss fight. Which also only 50 BH, but I think we just made some mistakes. Like, didn't realize that that boom cannon's in range, so it shot one. Which wasn't really great, especially when you lose in the first like 5 seconds. But I think we had an okay split. And again, our advantage is we have 100 BH, so we don't have to be as fast. Still Barting this ER just like the other hit. And again, doing building flares just to shift everyone. Because even though all the HCs are up top, we got enough heavies for the bottom one. And now we can just flare the last 2. Did lose a few more troops this hit, but it was our boss fight, it was okay. I do think moving forward, as more people get that BH at 7 ER, RCs aren't going to be as strong. So for us, I think we're going to decide whether to get lasers next or bombers. Just something with a bit more damage and dealing with more buildings. Since we're running no IT, leaning towards bombers, I think they might be easier to just keep alive. But still time to decide that. Probably still get Crybomb next, since I think no matter what combo you're using, it's some use. And then just backfill other stuff. A few defenses to get this other boost node. And for those of you who are also no IT, how do you feel about this season? Because I think that having HC at 4 ER really helped out in just not losing too many troops. And even though we're running RC for most of the season, now we'll switch over to bombers or lasers, but I think the next few days should be fine, especially with Crybomb. You can just take mines out of the equation and see how it goes. But that's going to be it for today's video, so thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.